Hello, hello, hello. I love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This week has been a shit week for me. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a hell of experience. Again, the second hardest thing I've had to do in my life. The first one was saying goodbye to my mother a few years ago. October will be 3 years. And this week was having to say goodbye to my father. 92 years old. I mean, you say, well, fuck, 92. It's like, well, okay. It doesn't matter. They could be 300 years old. It hurts. It hurts bad. I loved my father and I loved my mother. I can only hope that you have those same feelings too. Paul, come here a minute. I need you to do something for me, please. It's asking to tag something. Will you please tag that white thing just right there? Thank you. Yes, sir. A little bit harder. Sorry, I got help. I needed help. No, on the white, isn't it? What's it asking? What's it saying? Sorry, right? Don't put your head too much in there. That's all right. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I'm losing track because everything is Mickey Mouse. Just, it was a rough week. I had to go through some things that everybody's got to go through it. It's okay. And everybody goes through these things. It's never a perfect time for it, but I want to share a few things with you tonight because it changed a lot of things in my mind, in my life, and I'm very thankful for it, but it hurt. I'm just human, I don't care, I'm 57 years old, and I'm tough, but, no matter how tough I am, things suck. This show may go longer today. I'm not going to take any calls yet, but I've had to grab gear. My father passed away, for some of you that know. For some of you that don't know, it was, a little bit more unexpected. Even though at 92, I go, what are you going to do? It is what it is. But it happened, and I had to come running, and I had to stop everything I'm doing, and we kind of Mickey Moused everything. I am in Pensacola, Florida. This is not the way I expected to be doing this show, but I am going to do the show, and this show is deep, and it's going to be good for you because it was good for me, and we're going to talk about it. But first thing happens is when I came to my father's house, my parents' house, there was 2 Budweisers in the refrigerator. And last week, even though I had some flaws, I forgot to plug the main wire in and all that. Last week, I opened up one beer. There was 2 beers, and this is the second of the last beer. And I'm going to drink this. This is because this was my father's beer, and we're going to do this. I want to tag. Oh. In the meantime, anybody who's watching, if you give a shit about what you're watching, this is what you can do, because while I talk about this, everybody has texted me, called me, and said, Peter, anything you need, anything I can do for you. Is there anything I can do for you? And the bottom line is, there really isn't much you can do for me. Everything I had to take care of is business and funerals and all that kind of stuff. That's life. Life with Peter G. The thing is, if you really want to do anything for me, right now, if you give a shit about what I'm going to talk about and what I do in general, you're going to go and you're going to hit the share button. And when you hit the share button, it says watch party. You're going to hit the watch party, and you're going to spread the word, because I know this is the thing that's killing me, and I'll say it every friggin' week. My silent majority. All the people that watch this show silently. You don't say nothing. And I love you for watching. I love you for all the texting. I can't read that. I'll read all that stuff through the middle of the night tonight, but I just can't watch it. Hit the watch party, spread it. I promise you, especially now, I'm going to take this to a higher level. But right now, this is how we're doing it. I'm very thankful. They sent me with a little bit of gear, and I'm doing the best I can, and that's that. And so I'm going to do a watch party too, okay? Peter says, hey, I'm live, okay? I'm going to give you an example. So I'm live, and I'm going to hit share. And let's see what happens with the share. Share. Real quick, I'm going longer tonight because I don't give a shit. It's my show. I do what I want. But thank God last week I managed to make it, and I wasn't a mess, because I started thinking about things, and you just tear up. I mean, it's just death. I don't like losing people. I'm greedy. I love my friends. I love my family. Hang on one second. So add to timeline, message, watch party. I'm going to start a watch party. I like watch parties. So again, thank you to all my loyal, there's a bunch of loyal people out there. Just super, super die hard. They're right there, but they're quiet. They don't do and say a whole lot. But I love you guys very much, and this is why we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff. But a lot of people were asking, Peter, what can I do for you? And it kind of hit me now. This is all I really want you to do. I want you to watch and share this stuff every week. You know what? Even if you're too late, I realize in some parts of the country I'm up, like the show's on kind of late, and I get that. So if you can't watch it, and a lot of people say, hey, I'm listening and watching your show tomorrow because it regurgitates through Facebook, LinkedIn, and all these places. When you're watching the show, do me the favor, hit the share, and then hit the watch party. You can hit watch party whenever you're watching any pieces of my stuff, because you're spreading the word to people that you have no idea might give a shit. And I promise you, there's people that are going to be affected by this in a good way. I wouldn't do this for nothing. I got better things to do. I could be sitting home, just enjoying myself, but we're struggling to make this happen. But we're doing it, and I do it for a reason, because I love what I do, and I truly believe in my heart of heart that there's some good that's going to come out of all of this. So please hit the share and the watch party, okay? I opened up my father's beer, and I'm going to drink it. So here's my old man. It was hard to say goodbye to that old guy. You just, no matter how old they are, you get to a certain age, and you just look the same for decades and forever, and that's what happens. And you don't think anything's going to happen, but it does happen, and it sucks, and it hurt. And here's to him, 92 years old, and I'm going to tell you a couple of stories, because I learned a lot through his death by the things that happened this week. So cheers. I love you guys. Okay. So I had to have a funeral, and it's the way it goes, right? I'm very fortunate that things were kind of prearranged, but no matter how arranged you are and how ready you are, things just happen, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But I had to come home and make arrangements, and there was a lot of things to do, and God bless my daughter. I mean, my head was spinning, and just the simplest of things, sometimes I just couldn't get it together, and she's like, well, how about this, Dad? And she was right on the money. It's like, I'm very blessed with her. Here's the thing. I had to have a wake, had to have a funeral. The Greeks, my father's a hardcore Greek, Orthodox, whatever your religion is, whatever. But my father understood his religion, and he spent a lot of, and he knew who he was, even though he was my dad, he was a character. So the biggest problem I had was, dealing with all this stuff. So fast forward, I come home, I missed it. I did not make it to his bedside before he passed. I was in flight. I talked about that last week. But here's the difference between what I talked about last week to this week. When we had his wake, people came to see him to say goodbye. People I did not know, because I'm in Los Angeles, he's here in Florida, he's got his daily routines. My father had a routine that every day at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, he'd go out to these little bars, these small little neighborhood places to have 2 beers and to converse. He just wanted to hang out. He's bored. He just wanted to talk to people. And apparently he did. And apparently he talked to a lot of people, a lot more people than I was aware of. I had people that I did not know come to say goodbye to my father. Now, it wasn't this huge procession or nothing like that. It was hands full. I understand people live lives. I mean, who goes to funerals? Who's got time for funerals and all that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? I get it. But some people came that I did not know, and everyone kept telling me, I knew your father, and he really had an effect on me. He really had something to say, and that changed me, that helped me. Again, not the guy, my dad, because when we be together, it was always, sometimes there was a lot of this, because I'm running. I'm here for a short period of time, trying to keep the house in order, putting Band-Aids on things, God knows, trying to keep his car running, keep him from hitting stuff, fixing things that he's broken. But that's what I did, because I'm just trying to keep him going. But these people would see my father on a normal level, where the man who has 92 years of history in his head, and he was again unique individual. He knew things. He could have been a professor when it came to ancient history, modern history, this and that. He just knew all these things. He was gifted with history. But even so, people came and said, your father, I knew your father, we loved him very much, and he helped and changed and affected my life. And that's a big deal. Things I just didn't know. And my daughter was by my side, and she got to hear a lot of this stuff. But there was one man, and I'm going to have him on maybe once I get back to L.A., because my father liked the ocean. He was born, in Greece, and surrounded, he was born on an island. And he loved the ocean. We always lived coastally. And there's a little area not too far from here, a couple of miles away, and he liked to go there. It's called Sanders Beach. It's kind of a nice little area, and there's a dock, and you can sit on a park bench on the dock. And apparently he would go there just to kill time. He had nothing to do. Well, a man came walking into his wake, and a big man, too, tall man, older than me. And he walked up to me. He says, you don't know me, but my name is so-and-so, and I just want to tell you I knew your father from Sanders Beach because I'd go down there and throw nets because he'd catch mullet and things like that. And I remember my father telling me, I got some fish. I got somebody to give me some fish. He was a he was a bargainer. He knew how. I think in that culture, those years, that's what you did. But he knew how to bargain or how to get things. And this man said, I just want you to know, your father changed my life and saved my life. He said, I'd see your father a lot because I will go down there a lot to catch fish and this and that. And your father, and we'd sit and talk, and we became friends. And I was in a bad time in my life, and I was losing my mind, and I was drinking heavy and this and that. And your father changed my life. And I don't remember the details, and I'm going to call him because what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of people in your life that change your life. Now, this I wasn't aware of. I think this show has its purpose. Its purpose is to help you air out what's bugging you. Sometimes we've already proven that fact. You're telling me your problems and you're answering your own questions. I don't tell you what to do. I just point you in the right direction. Okay? I don't know. Again, I got my own problems, but sometimes when you're hearing other people's, it's right there in front of you. So this man, he came to my father's wake and funeral because of the effect, and total stranger, but he came because of the effect he had on his life. He changed his life. He says, I will forever love your father because he made a difference. And he cried at my father's coffin. He cried. Big man. And he cried. I can cry as my father. But surprisingly, I did very well at his wake and funeral. It's when I'm alone and I'm thinking of stuff, you just start thinking of stuff and it just sets you off. If it doesn't set you off, well, then you didn't love that person because it hurts. Love hurts. It could be the greatest thing in your life, but when these days come around and all that, it can suck. And it did. And so it was just this moment that just brought me to like, wow, my crazy ass father did more than I ever knew just by being him and sharing his history, his perspective. I'm sharing perspective, but I don't have his history. Everybody's different. But apparently he made a lot of things and a lot of people change and just by him telling his stories, whatever the hell it was. Again, I wasn't there. I'm going to go visit a few of these people. I will. On my next trip, I have to go back to L.A. This was not, but I'll be back and forth. And I'm going to go visit these people because this is important because it's all about this show, Life with Peter G. I don't do this just to hear myself talk. I don't need it. I hear myself talk all the time. I don't have to move my lips. I can hear it right here. But it's important to me. Very important to me. And he changed people. I'm just floored that this crazy old man drives an old shitbox car that has hit. He doesn't miss many things. I used to make jokes. It's like, he's not. I got a father. He's 92. And they go, oh, wow. I go, yeah, and he still drives. And people go, oh, wow. I go, yeah, watch out. Watch out. Because he drove. And that was his lifeline. You take his license away and take his freedom. That was the last of his freedom. So it was a big deal. Time out. So I just wanted to say that. Come the funeral the next day. The church, these Greeks, it's old school, deep religion. It's a rituals, and there's reasons behind everything, and they don't change. It's not like the younger Christian churches, and they're playing rock and roll, just praising God. And I get that. Any way, shape, or form is at least it's a way, shape, or form. But the Greeks are so friggin' old school. I mean, it's way over my head. But my father knew that religion verbatim. He could mimic the priest, and he knew why he was saying what he was saying. So comes the funeral, and Greek funerals are tough. I mean tough. They come in, they roll them in, they open it up again. It's not like Catholic funerals, or you just kind of get it out of your mind. And the priest does his thing, and you get to go up one more time. And at the end of the service, they close that sucker, and it's tough. I remember as a kid. I mean, it haunts you, in a good way, but it haunts you. It's like the final. But he gave a eulogy, and son of a bitch, I never forget my phone, because you know that having a phone, a cell phone, is like having a child. You don't leave it anywhere. But I walked out the... Sorry, it's not the usual setup. I walked out of the house, and I left my phone on the table. And I never do that. But I was halfway there, and it was time to go, and I could not turn back. And the priest, after he did his thing, before he wrapped it up, gave a eulogy about my father, about coming to church service. The only reason I'm telling you this is because it's, again, a life-changing thing. Otherwise, I promise I'm not going to go back here tomorrow, okay? Or next week, we're going to talk about other things. I will always remember this old man. But I want you to remember this because you're going through it, you've been through it, you're going to go through it. It just is, and it's your head is spinning. So come to the eulogy from the priest, Greek Orthodox priest. He said, Mr. George, for those of you who don't know, he says, we have a divine liturgy, a church service, a mass, whatever you want it to refer it to, and it starts at 10 o'clock. What you don't know is, at 9 o'clock, there's a service before the service because nobody comes here that early to go and see it. He says, but there's another service. And it's a service that, sacred time. I come into the church and I have to prepare the church for sacred time. For time to give me for the service for God. And again, I'm not a God preacher. I don't say I'm going to save you, but I am religious. My father was the same way. He never, ever would preach to save you or this and that, but he knew his religion, and he believed in it dearly. So the priest said, I come in an hour early, and I come and I have, he has his routine. He said, but nobody's there because nobody comes to church that early. He says, Mr. George, I'd come in, and he says, but there'd be an old green Ford Taurus in the parking lot. And he'd say, damn it. Well, he didn't say damn it. He said, wow, Mr. George beat me again to church. And my father would be there at the crack of dawn, waiting, because my father knew this religion. He said, I'd go into the church, and there would be Mr. George in one of the pews. I'd do my ritual ceremonies and this and that, and there's a part in the ceremony that you come around to the front of the altar, and in the Greek churches, they have all these icons. They're like doors, but they're big, giant icons. St. Nick, St. Peter, St. Paul, St. John, everybody's St. John, St. George. And you have to bless the icons and kiss the icon. And he says, there came a point, and my back would be to the pews. He says, but I could hear somebody talking verbatim the same thing I'm saying. And believe me, it's high-level Greek. It's way over my head. I kind of understand, but the Greek in the church, it's almost like a Catholic speaking Latin, the priest speaking Latin, because it's old school. He'd say, I'd turn around, there'd be Mr. George 3 feet behind me holding a candle. It was like we were doing a dance. He knew the priest's job. Verbatim, word for word. He not only recited it, he knew why he recited all these phrases and things that had to be done. And it just blew my mind because my father was that deep. And again, another story I did not know. He didn't praise, and try to say, try to save you or anything like that, but he knew his religion because he was that hardcore. He was a smart man, but he was a goof, and he's my old man, so it was a whole different story. But that was just very uplifting to hear another story about how deep my father was, because I knew my father was very smart, but you swear to God, he had this really heavy, don't give a shit attitude that, to me, as his son, overrode all the good stuff. Not all the good stuff, but we never talked about stuff like this. Didn't have to. It was a whole different relationship. I guess that's my point. My father had a different relationship with people outside of the family. A very deep relationship, apparently, because a lot of people kept saying, your father meant the world to us. And it just made me feel good. I mean, it was just different. Same thing with my daughter. I mean, she knows me as Dad, but there's a whole different point to me. Even right now, she's not very far away, kind of listening to this, but can give a shit about it. It just is what it is. But I care very much about what we're doing. 818-259-7983. This is what we're going to be doing. So, and I'm getting cues. Thank you, Paul. I have help tonight, thank God. Bolt Energy. I came here on the last second, and I apologize, but I don't have Bolt. They didn't. It was just such a whim. I could not be sitting doing any of this stuff had it not be for Bolt Energy. And I normally always open up a can and drink it during the show, but Bolt Energy. Energy drink, electrify your senses. Bolt Energy, no preservatives, okay? It's not, you don't have to drink an 80-ounce can. It's a small can, kind of like the Bull can. But no preservatives, enriched with vitamins and antioxidants. But it tastes good, too, on top of that. A lot of those energy drinks just taste like flat-out shit. I'm going to tell you that right now. They do. Eventually, they're going to get the sugar-free, but they're working on it right now. New. And I like these guys because they have tenacity, and we joined up, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But I was good enough... I was good enough to at least get, I had a shirt here in Florida, and so I at least was able to wear the shirt. Well, I'll be back next Sunday in L.A. in an undisclosed location in Burbank, California. But tonight, we are in Pensacola, Florida, and I'm doing this very, very basic. We're lucky to even be going right now. It froze at the very beginning because I don't have a hard line wire, but I'm very thankful, okay? So either way, I cannot see your texts, but you can text all you want. I'll answer you later. But here's what we're going to start doing. We're going to start opening up the phones. Here's what I want to talk about. And I'm going to do this friggin' show. We were already 25 minutes. I'm sorry. I had to tell you this because I loved my father as I loved my mother very much. Small family. And I'm going to miss him forever. But he's going to be right here. But it's very, very surreal. I stand in his house and just thinking he's just going to come home, and it doesn't happen. And a lot of people can feel what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've all lived it, or you're going to live it. I lost my train of thought now. Bolt Energy. Thank you, Bolt Energy, for helping me be on this show. We'll be back in action next week. Ask for it in stores. They're growing. They're not all over the place, but if you keep asking for it, I mean, try it. I promise you, you're not going to say it sucks. It's because it doesn't suck. If it did, I wouldn't do it. Can't stand shit that, I mean, there's a lot of drinks that just drive me nuts. It's like, ooh, it tastes like crap, but you're drinking it to get a little boost. But if you're going to drink something, you're going to spend money, spend it on something that's worthy of. So I'm very fortunate. They're very hands-on. I love them. In fact, as soon as I get back to L.A., we are going to get together immediately to recap because I have to be more set up for Pensacola and Florida. I love Pensacola. I love being here, but I just need some more resources down here, but we're doing it. One little thing I want to tell you I did, and then I want phone calls, 818-259-7983, but give me 5 more minutes. We'll do it at the top of the hour. Yeah, 5 more minutes. I had a friend of mine, there was a crawfish boil the other night, yesterday, and he said, I'll bring you some crawfish. Hang on, I'm thirsty. He said, I'll bring you some crawfish. I haven't had crawfish in about 4 years. I used to like them, still do. But so he brings me this big old bag of crawfish. I mean, it's a big old bag of crawfish. And he says, just eat them when you want, and it's like, thanks, man, thanks. So today, I didn't do it too much yesterday, and today I'm going to start peeling them and do it. So it's this big friggin' bag like this. It took me an hour and a half, because by the time you break them off and try to clean them and rinse them off, by the time I did this bag that was this big for the crawfish, I got through, and it was like a cup. The meat, by the time you crack the heads, right? I mean, there's not really a whole lot. It's just and I don't know, for some reason, it just was weird. It took me half of the time I was opening them to finally get the system down to pinching the tail and make it, because I was butchering them for a while. But I guess my point being is it was messy. You get a little bit, but it's kind of fun. The corn is good, and the potatoes were real good. But I mean, it was this cup full, and I ate them in about, I swear to God, it was probably less than 60 seconds. It took me an hour and a half to clean them out. But I think my point being was, I went on a date once, and I didn't know where to eat, and we went to like a crab steamer boiler, a seafood restaurant, and we ended up having crab and this and that. It's messy. Here's a tip. I'm going to give you a dating tip. Do not take your date to a seafood crab when you're cracking. I mean, it's just messy, it's nasty, and it's stinky. Okay, so take it from Peter. Go to a steak restaurant or something like that, because I made this because I was, I'm in the Gulf Coast and it's seafood and this and that, and they're bringing like king crab legs in a bucket, but you're cracking them and they're squeezing and juices flying out, and you're pulling the meat out and all that. But I don't know. I would, if I were you, I would just for future reference, if you ever go out, steer clear of that. It's more work than what it, and then your fingers are. I'm telling you, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So don't do it. Don't do it. That's that. All right. A couple things also, and then we're going to move forward. And if the phone doesn't ring, I'll keep talking. But I really do want to hear from you guys. I just kind of had to talk about this stuff. It's good. See, this is my point. See, I'm talking about this stuff to help me as well, but it's helping you by listening to my experience. I want to hear you guys talk about stuff, because that's what it's all about. And again, I cannot read your texts, so if you're going to talk to me, you're going to talk to me. And we're going to talk in about 2-3 minutes if you want to call. I do want to thank a few people. I had it was so much trying to pull together. I'm going to thank some local people as well too, because again, Pensacola is in my stomping grounds, and I'll always have a foot here. But I had to have some catering after the funeral. The Greeks believe in having a dinner afterwards. It's like I don't know. There's a reason for it, and normally you have fish and stuff like that. Well, there's a little joint down here, and it's called the Hip Pocket, and thank God for a lot of women that my parents knew and stuff like that. Well, one of my friends, one of my parents' friends, and my friend too, her son is a chef or whatever. He owns a little restaurant called the Hip Pocket, and he's got a food truck and all that. And they do everything from Greek gyros to all kinds of stuff. But he catered this for me, and he did a damn good job. I didn't have to worry about anything. After your head is spinning. Spinning. I think it was probably like 40 people, 50 people at max. Because, in the daytime, a lot of people have to work. And the funeral was at 10 in the morning, and by noon, he came into the church hall. He worked his ass off the night before, and they laid it all out. Thank God. God bless all the women that helped and all that, but I didn't have to do anything but talk and say hello to people, because there's people that showed up that just blew my mind. I wasn't expecting to see these people show up to pay last respects, whether they were coming there for me or for my father. The bottom line is they came. And I don't think anything of the people that didn't come, because I get it. I can't go to everybody's funeral. I live 2,000 miles away. I've missed very important people in my life, family members, cousins, things like that were almost like, the next step to father, mother. I couldn't do it. I lived far away, or I was away, all that. But anyway, one of the big deals was I'm trying to pull together food, to have food, and George Macris from the Hip Pocket in Pensacola, Florida, in Warrington for that matter, did an amazing job. The fish, and normally my father wants fried, but I think he broiled it. Didn't he? Broiled it, and then he had stuff on top. Everybody said how good it was, and I'm not a fishy fish guy, but he did a great job, so I just want to say thank you. Thank you to an LA friend. I've paid through the nose to get here. And he's a million-mile flyer, one of my good friends, Dirk Schubert, who we've worked together for many years, and we're friends. We've toured together and things like that, and he's even given me flyer miles that I don't even have anymore, because I'm going to be doing so many trips back and forth. I'm not rich. I told you a million times. I'm just like you, except I do this. And it's a struggle. But Dirk wrote... he owns a sound company in L.A., and that's how we met, because he has a very respectable sound company, a big sound company. And he wrote me something today that just pretty much put me to tears, because he's gotten very methodical and very spiritual over these past few years. And he's my friend, and I'm very lucky. And even though he's got his own problems and health problems and this and that, I am very, very blessed to have him in my life, as well as all of you. And that's the thing. I want to hear from all the silent majorities. Just please, I know you're watching, and it's so cool, but the only way we're going to take this thing to a next level streaming network is going to be by showing that you're there. It's all about numbers. These friggin' people, it's got to be like, how big is your audience? It's like, it's as big as you want to spend the money to get me out there, because I know there's an audience out there. Everybody's got friggin' problems. There's no doubt about it. But that's the way it is. So that's that. I want to thank Dirk Schubert. I love you to death for. Again, we've had a lot of fun, and I hope we can do things again. But life is a hustle. It's kind of like we've taken me into different circles. I've had to go to, and we just swim in different ponds now. But we're all friends, and this has kind of brought everything back to full circle. I'm very, very fortunate that this show is bringing some people back into my world, because I was too busy hustling. To try to survive. Before I even thought up this show, I changed, my whole life, career, whatever you want to call it. But I'm very, very thankful. So, bottom line is, let's refresh. I'm very, very blessed that I was lucky enough to know that people came to me to tell me how much of an effect my father had on a good handful of people's lives, and to me that means a lot. You're hired, Paul. I got people. He's reminding me things. I couldn't do it last night. The last week was a struggle, but he's. You're catching on quick. Okay, I got somebody telling me to, just like at home, only different. Real quick, I want to show you something. So one of my fans. He's an old friend, but he's still a fan. You're doing okay when you got a friend that knows you still good and he still likes you. He still likes what you're doing. Back in one of the last musicians' memorials, a benefit concert that I played here, it was a picture that was taken, and how can I do this? And he blew it up, but that's oh God, look at now, you're getting to see all the screens and all that. But anyway, he blew it up and he gave it to me as a present, and I appreciate that. I mean, that's one of my favorite pictures because my playing time has grown so thin. I don't do it very much anymore, but that's me. That's what that's my love. This is my new love now. But he got this for me. He went out of his way, and I truly appreciate that, and thank you. But I wanted to show you that last week, but I forgot. I forget a lot of things. My head spins when I do all this stuff. Okay. Here we go. 818-259-7983. I know, and I get the thumbs up. Okay. Because now I'm going to ask you guys to step up to the plate and call me, all right? I've talked for over 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and I can't help it because it was really that big of a deal to me. There's somebody else I want to... There's so many people I want to thank. I want to thank all of you. All of you. I got people that I need to buy them new cars and new houses because of all the things they do for me. But these were just a few people that came out of, for this certain occasion that have helped me, and I appreciate it. But I got a lot of people to thank daily that do things for me and help me. Anything you need, Peter, anything you need. And I'm going to remind you, what I need is for you guys every Sunday, or even if you don't watch it while it's live, to hit the watch party. And I'm going to take this. And here we go. Hi, you're on with Life of Peter G. Who's this?
I'm going to remain anonymous.
You're going to remain anonymous?
Your curtains remind me of my father's house.
You know what? I was going to cover them up, and it didn't look right. I just said, you know what? I know it's a different background, but I'm going to use it. It is what it is.
Nice touch with the 60s curtains.
80s.
I can show you pictures of my father's house when I was a baby, and those are the same curtains.
I think we bought them off of you.
They were on the side of the road.
Yeah.
One day I hope to be rich enough not to look at furniture on the side of the road.
it's again, I had to make decisions and I had to deal with it because for the on the fly, and I don't want to be. My biggest fear was the cellular hookup because and it's so sketchy where my parents lived or live, and it froze when we first started for about 15 seconds. But I think we're going okay now, and I had to deal with it because what else was I going to do? I know we're talking in the future, but that's the future.
It is what it is. Like I said,
but you got it in your mind.
Fine.
Yeah.
If I would have known, I would have given you some Labatt's if you were going to drink beer on the air.
Well, here's the deal. The reason is there was 2 bottles of Budweiser in the refrigerator when I got here. So I drank one last Sunday, and this is the final. These were my father's beers. He was a simple man. But yes, you can give me beer anytime.
Very good. Look, hang in there. Everybody has their own process. Everybody has their own way of dealing with this. So there's no right or wrong.
Right.
And I wish you all the luck.
Thank you. You know how I love you. We sat and talked for a few minutes the other night, but it was a long day for you. But yeah, I mean, I feel better talking about this stuff because I had to share. I think if I share some of this stuff, so many people can relate, even your buddy that's in town. I mean, I can't sit nowhere where people haven't had pain. And, helping release it really does the body good. Keeping it in your head, and it's tough. And so
there are people watching, and because there are people that are responding to you. I just want to let you know. I know you said you couldn't see the text.
I can't. This setup is not allowing me. It's just too much, and I'll look at them all tomorrow.
Just letting you know that there are people out there. So keep it up and do what you do best.
I will. I wish they would call now. Now it's time to call. Now it's time to put your big girl panties on or big boy pants on, and somebody call me and tell me, what's going on with them and if they can relate to this stuff. Because tonight, that's what we're talking about. Because and I know, we talked real quick the other night that's the call that you're waiting for, and it haunts you. And, I got my reality check for the second time. I am officially an adult now. I have no more parents. So, I mean, even though I was an adult anyway, but it just changes the game.
It sure does. And like I said, there's no right or wrong way, and there's no right or words to help you or to do that. But just to talk it out is a huge help. Well, I hope to see you before you leave town again. You know where I am.
Can I come? Yeah. Can I come to your radio show? Talk on your just hang with you on your radio show.
You want to come down Tuesday? Sure.
I'm gonna try because we're flying out on. We're flying out soon after. But I think I might be able to squeeze it in. It's only 2 hours, and I won't stay. But just because I like your in between song banter.
Give it a shot, Peter. Go do what you do best. I'm gonna let you get to some other people.
All right. I love you, Nick. See you later.
Bye.
All right, peace. Okay, people. See, tag. Do you want? Come here. I don't understand some of these things. People, I'm going to ask you 818. Thank you. How much do I owe you? 818-259-7983 is the number. I want to hear from you. What's on your mind? What's bugging you? Again, I'm telling you about what I had to go through this week. It wasn't easy. It sucked. It hurt, and it will always hurt. Even my mother after 3 years. It's just nothing nothing actually ever that you get used to. You just learn how to live with it. Thank God for memories. As long as I have my memories, I mean, it's almost like being there, but they're just not home right now. It was hard. It was hard to, say goodbye. It always is. But that's because it's all about love. And I talk to people. I want the people that are going to be watching this show are people that give a shit. Again, my divorce and single parenting show is a big deal. You want to talk about that? I'm cool, because I'm slacked off. I don't have time right now to be doing some of the deeper interviews. But a lot of this stuff, let me tell you, people, all on YouTube. You go to YouTube, The Peter G Show. There's tons of stuff up there, all about surviving divorce and single parenting, how to handle it when you were drinking yourself under the table and nobody wants to hear you, and you get to hear a lot of different people's perspectives. And you get to hear a lot of little segments about me talking about scenarios and situations. I actually kind of make sense. I don't know how, but somehow or another, there was something came about me that helped me to survive, and this show is helping me to survive. It's giving me hope to pass on to you. But I want somebody to call me. I know it's late. I know all that stuff, but I need 818-259-7983. I need you to call and talk to me about what's on your mind. We're losing time. I'm not going to stay on here unless we got something to talk about, but I know there's a lot of people out there. They're just scared. Just do it. If you want to do anything for me, again, the watch party. Anytime you watch any of this stuff, you hit share and hit the watch parties, so that way people know you're watching and you're spreading the word to your friends, and that way maybe they can even spread the word to their friends because they're watching this show while you're watching this show, and life goes on. But that's a big deal. So I would hope that that's what you would do for me if there's anything you wanted to do, since so many people told me that, hey, Peter, is there anything I can do for you? Anything, you name it. Well, that's what I'm asking, because I want to take this to another level where there's a budget where I can take this. I'm very thankful I can even be here thanks to my Bolt Energy people. It's a big deal to me because they give a shit and I give a shit, so two heads are better than one. And we just kind of help each other out. They're getting me here. I'm helping them. I have a voice, and a kind of loud voice. And I'm telling you that if ask for it in stores. If you don't ask for it, they're not going to know to go to the distributors to try to bring it to the stores. It's not easy doing that. You go try. I mean, you know what I mean? It's all kinds of ideas. I've had so many friends, they got all these great friggin' ideas, but nobody gets off the couch. I'm going to start using harsh language. Nobody gets off the couch. That's the problem with a lot of people. I got off the couch. I'm off the couch, and I'm jumping up and down on the freaking couch because I am hell bent to take this to another level. I'm that proud of what I'm doing. Whether you like what I'm doing or not, if you like what I'm doing, I want you to help me. 818-259-7983. I pay you $1 every time you remind me. But I need somebody to call me, because I didn't bring elevator music, and I don't want to hear myself talk. And for some reason, in my mind, I thought we were going to strike a nerve tonight, and people were going to get the guts out of having empathy for me. Feel sorry for me and call me. Go, I got to call this sucker because he needs a phone call. All right, that's all I ask. It's not that big a deal. I know it's late and stuff, and a lot of people watch this stuff afterwards. But the whole purpose of Live is every Sunday night, 8:30 Pacific, 10:30 Central, and 11:30 on the East Coast. This face is going to be here. Not so much like this, but vintage. This house is like a time warp. I'm doing it from a house, which is crazy. Hang on one second. Ooh, look. Ooh la la. Hi, you're on with Life of Peter G. Who's this?
Hey, it's Steve.
Hey, Steve. Turn your. It's almost like a radio show that it echoes, so you'll get confused. You might want to turn down whatever you're watching.
Well, hell, I'm confused. Yeah, I'm definitely confused.
Hell, I'm confused all the time.
Yes, technology. I hate that. Hey, man.
Yeah. You're going to have to turn that off, or you're never going to be able to keep up. I mean, just kill the volume.
I'm looking forward on this.
If I had a phone screener and we were bigger, then they would tell you that ahead of time. But since we're Captain, Mickey Mouse, you got to do it old school. Good now?
Hey, I think I just muted it.
Look at that! You're a friggin' star. What can I do for you?
Hey, Peter.
Yo.
Yeah, it's Steve. I just turned the damn speaker off. I'm a tech whiz now.
All right, look at that. That's what your college education did for you. What's on your mind?
Nothing much, man. I was
okay, great.
Your show for the first time. I'm watching your show. You said please call. I called.
I appreciate that.
I called to support you.
So, thank you. Good. See, now I'm getting empathy calls. Good. I'll take it. I mean, I work my ass off, and I do this for a reason. But, a lot of people got shit going on in their lives, and they need to talk to somebody. I don't know what's up with you. I haven't seen you in a long time. But let me give a quick thing. You were one of the people that came to my father's funeral, correct?
Oh, yeah.
It's a heavy funeral, isn't it?
Yes, and I've never been to a Greek Orthodox service before.
It's a lot deeper than some. Some, it's a little bit easier, I would think, right?
Yes, and it's. I was at the service, especially at the end of the service when there was the walk by, the open casket.
Right.
I was I don't deal with that well.
Neither do I.
I never have.
I don't think anybody does.
And yeah, and I was afraid that I was going to do something that was offended because I did not walk through.
Right. It's okay. It's okay. Look, when my mother passed away, my daughter couldn't do that. She dealt with the wake, but she couldn't do it with my daughter when she was 10 at the time. And people say, why do you subject her? I subjected her to all this because I wanted her to have an everlasting memory of one of the few people in her life that would love her to death. And my mother loved her to death, and so did my father in his own crazy ass kind of way. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and I appreciate. But I walked into that church, and if you had said, "Who do you think's going to show up to your father's funeral?" and I would, and I'll give you $1 million, I would have lost $1 million because you just came out of the woodwork, and I was floored, and I told you, I love you for it very much. I mean, people have, you took the time out of your life, and I want to thank you. I don't know what drove you to do it, but I thank you.
Well, there are only two things that drove me to do it. I knew your father. And my memories and my feelings about your father were so good. And I know you, and my memories and feelings about you are so good. I wish to support you in your time, in what you were going through.
And I thank you because, honestly, I haven't seen you since about 2000. That picture that I held up, were you watching? That picture was when we were playing. We played together that night. At Seville.
Yeah, Seville.
Yeah. That was it was a great picture, but that was the last time I think I've seen you since 2011 or 2012. I mean, we've talked on the phone, I think, but I don't think I physically have seen you up until my father's funeral. Because, again, we all live and work. We're all running in different circles. I don't live here.
Oh, yeah. Life pulls you in different directions, and sometimes you lose track of your friends.
Absolutely. And again, all great relationships. We've had years of history on and off and, crossing paths and this and that, but things just change. And this is my way of staying connected with everybody. This show, you can, whatever's bugging you. I mean, hey, you got anything bugging you, by the way? Or are you just calling to because I felt bad, put the guilt on you?
No, I mean, hey. I've led a good life.
All right, that's pretty good. Most people got ass aches. I mean, tons of them. That's why I wanted to do this, to get it off your chest, let it all out. But you're living the good life, and you know what? God bless you. That's good because I swear and bitch and complain all week long. But I do that so that way I don't just explode. I mean, life's.
Hey, I do have a question though. How do you not play music anymore?
That's a good question. Hang on. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would stop playing music because I've been playing music since I was 5 years old or whatever. And that's a whole nother subject, but when I went through the divorce I went through, it made me have to make some life-changing decisions as to what my priorities were. And I don't need a pat on the back. I'm not telling you this. I don't want a pat on the back. I don't want that, well, you did a good job. It's just who I am. Whatever I do, good or bad, make mistakes, make the right decisions, make the wrong decisions, it is what it is. I do the best I can. But I had to make some choices. Nowadays, playing music involves travel. Nobody's doing recordings. I used to work for I moved to L.A. to make it. I learned there was a difference between making it and having it made. Like, in a lot of aspects, people would say, man, Peter, I give you credit. You had the guts to go out there, and you went out there, and you did this, and you did that. Yes and no. There's a balance. I realized that I have friends, and a lot of them, that if they stopped playing today, they could live wealthily the rest of their lives. They have residual income. Back in the day when you actually made residual income, they made records. They've been in the business for 30 years in L.A. But in this day and age, Aerosmith doesn't even make money on records and things like that. They have to constantly tour. You're paying anywhere from $80 to $1,000 for a friggin' concert ticket to go see a band. But people are paying it because they want to see real good music. And the problem with me was I fought way too hard in courts for way too many years and spent way too much money to be a father to this little girl that I absolutely friggin' adore. And I had to make a decision to stay home and try not to go out and do anything, and that's what happened. I had to get a real job. Sucked. I haven't had a real job since I was 12 years old. I was a paper boy. But I had to, because I ran out of money. And going through all this is how it has all led up to where I'm at now. The thing was, I'm so hell-bent. I do miss playing sometimes, but it's a lot of work. Playing is a lot of work. Being a drummer, now I got to set up my own crap. You used to have people that do it for you and this and that, but that little girl made it worth it because she doesn't judge me for my money. She never has, and it's always like if we could do something, we did something. If we didn't, we didn't. And we had a great time because I'm a hands-on guy. Everything we did together. Time is way more important than money. And yes, it hurt. And sometimes I get the urge, and I do play, but I don't play steadily. I don't have time now because I've come into this new venture, and my life is too complicated. But the thing is that if this show grows and gets bigger, I'm wanting to do musician interviews like I have on some of my YouTube. I don't know if you had the chance to see some of these musicians on my YouTube interviews. And if with the budget permitting, I will play music with these guys. I say, let's do a song. But I can't do it right now. And I know what you're saying. How do you stop? Well, walk in my shoes, and I had to make choices. There was just choices, and there's only so many hours in a day. And playing music, you know what I mean. It's very hard. Nobody makes a living playing. You either make a living. I was just talking to my friend tonight where he says when he retires, he wants to go and play, do a single or a duo or something, and it'll be a lot more fun because he won't give a shit about the money. I have to give a shit about money. I need money. I live in Los Angeles. It's expensive. I can't just hang out, and not have it. But there's your answer. It's a long-winded answer, but there's your answer. I do miss it. In fact, when I go back, I will do a little bit of playing as soon as I get back there. But it is what it is. I don't know. And I used to be like a bicycle, like I can sit down and, it wasn't like I got rusty. I'm starting to get rusty now. I come into this town and do more playing than I do when I'm in L.A. with Jerry Dawson and, all those guys at Seville's and local gigs. Does that make any sense?
Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, I retired here about a year and a half ago, and with the plan to get back into playing, and it's starting to happen for me. And but the whole time I stopped playing while I was making a living, I just was waiting for the day that I could get back to it.
You know what? I came full circle, and again, I had this conversation with Greg Fillinganes, a keyboard player that I'm close with, in one of the interviews, and I said, I've come to the point where like I stopped for a while, and it almost, when I left this town, I said I'll never play cover tunes again. I'm done because I've done that my whole life, and then I came to the point where it's like, I almost miss not playing cover tunes. You know what I mean? I can go sit down. My memory's still pretty good. I can remember everything from the Flintstones to, Fat Bottom Girls Queen. Doesn't matter. I'm pretty much, if my brain can think about it, I can play it. And Greg Fillinganes, because he's as big as it gets. He's a keyboard player. He's played with everybody from Michael Jackson to Eric Clapton, Stevie Wonder, Quincy Jones. In fact, I just saw some posts. He was at somewhere with Quincy Jones just recently this past week. But he says, oh no, make no mistake, he plays music because that's his income, that's his living. But his level is just a different level than my level. Again, back to the point of, there's a difference between making it in the business and having it made. You can make it. You can be on stage with Tina Turner in a Coliseum doing gigs. But when Tina Turner stops working, what do you do after that? See, she keeps making money. You're a hired gun. Nowadays, hired guns, unless your name, and in fact, one of the drummer from Charlie Daniels who retired out of there to be with his daughter, when we had an interview a couple of years ago, and he left, and he got paid, and you look like a star, but the thing is, when you're done, it's like it's a paycheck, and then there's nothing after that. You have to keep on working. That means being gone all the time, and unless your name's on the T-shirt, you're not getting all the perks of the T-shirt sales and the this and the that and the live video DVDs and all that kind of stuff. So you're a hired gun.
A lot of people don't understand that. Yeah.
No, and I got friends. My one buddy plays with Rick Springfield. I was trying to get that gig years ago, and Pat Benatar, and and that's good. At least they're still playing, and they have it's good. It's an income. It's a better look. It's not a bad way to make a living, but if you're not lined up to where you go from one thing to another thing in between, because those artists only tour seasonally, and and you're gone. And with my current situation, I have no regrets about the time I spend with my daughter. And now she's getting older and things are changing. But I always, when I thought up this cockamamie scheme about this show, I said, you know what? This is good because I'm getting older, and I could melt into this because I truly believe in my soul that I will enjoy this as much as playing music, and I'll have the luxury of playing music too in the future. But I got to get you guys to build this up, to believe. Unless you don't believe, then that's totally cool. But if you do believe, you need to be sharing this crap and sorry. You need to be sharing this stuff and hitting that share button with the watch party and letting it go out to your people, because even though you're happy with your life, which is a great thing, because money does not equate happiness. Happiness is how you feel no matter what you're doing. If you made $200 a week and you were enjoying what you were doing with less pressure about keeping up with the Joneses, which I truly believe, that's a big deal. Because, I know tons of people. They got to have the right Mercedes, and they got to have the house. It's like keeping up with the Kardashians. It's like, that's total bullshit. That's a 1 in 20 million. Everybody else is struggling. But if you're happy with the income you have a roof over your head, you have food in your stomach, and you know what? Life's not so bad. You're not like running like I do to keep on trying to pay for things. And I'm not even trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm just trying to build something that I truly believe in, but I'm happy doing it. So happiness has, my father told me years ago there was a psychic that said he's going to die a rich man. And I made a joke to somebody at his funeral. I said, my father had a psychic that said he was going to die a rich man, and he wasn't a rich, we didn't have any money. And she looked at me and she says, your father was a very rich man. And spiritually and mentally, he was a rich man. And you know what? It's like, shame on me. I'm a friggin' asshole. Not an asshole. I'm an idiot. Because she was right. I mean, there's different ways of being rich. He was okay. I wanted to take care of him, but being rich has many, many, definitions. So that's that. I mean,
well, man, I don't want to tie up your show like that, but your father did enrich me every time I saw him.
Really?
And I will have memories of him for the rest of my life.
Give me one quick example, because nobody's blowing up my phones anyway. Usually, sometimes they overlap because I don't have. Is there anything you can because I need to know this. I just anything, just real quick, if you have anything, besides all just bullshitting. Just sitting at a bar bullshitting.
Well, most of the time I spent around your father having a relationship, it was in some kind of a bar scenario or something.
Sure.
He would walk in an afternoon, or
every
I would
afternoon.
walk in and see his car there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if it was every afternoon.
He went out every day.
I'd be driving by and I'd see that little bitty green station wagon. I'd go, I'm going to stop and see George.
All right. Right.
And I'd stop in and I'd say hi and, buy him a beer and talk for a few minutes. And it was always about you most of the time.
Really?
And while your mother was alive, that we'd speak a little bit about, at your father taking care of her, because he spent a lot of time over the years, taking care of her needs.
Right.
Which I always adored that about him.
He stepped up to the plate. He definitely did.
Yes, he did. But yeah, he was just always fun to be around. And I mean, he'd walk in. It was almost like a Cheers episode. If I was sitting somewhere and having a beer, and he'd walk through the door, and the entire bar would go, "Hey, George."
Yeah, he was like clockwork every day, because I have cameras at the house just to check on him and making sure he comes home. But every day between 2 and 3 o'clock, he was out that door, because that was his time to go and socialize. 1, 2 beers, 3 beers. He turns him into, he was just getting to be a lightweight. I stop. Just, watch your stuff. Oh, yeah, I watch myself. It's like, yeah. But, he was just different in that scenario. And In fact, I guarantee you, half the people he talked to, at least half, he probably didn't know. I mean, people who infrequented, he didn't know their names, or don't, your friend. I saw a friend of yours. Who? I don't remember his name. But
yeah, well, I definitely was that guy.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. I'd go places when I'm here, and we'd be talking at some bar or restaurant, like the Orr House or this and that, and we'd start talking. I'd be getting introduced to somebody. Go, this is Peter, and blah blah blah. By the mid conversation, they go, "Is your father's name George?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I know your dad." And I've run into that a lot through the years. And he goes, "Your dad's something else." I go, "Oh yeah, he's something else, all right."
Well, Peter, I'm going to let you go.
Thank you.
There is one thing that I do want to say to you.
Yeah.
And your father mentioned it a few times over the years.
Yeah.
You need to play the trumpet again.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'll do a lot of things for him, but playing trumpet. I mean, the friggin' valve. I just opened up the case because my father was a trumpet player. The valves are stuck. I don't know how to unfreeze the fucking thing. Oops, I just swore.
Hey, Schmidt Music. You go to Schmidt Music. They have the best techs for
because they're stuck.
Downtown.
They're stuck. I wanted to at least do the scales because I can probably remember them. Before I played drums. My father was teaching me trumpet, but he said I never had the lips with them. The lips for trumpet. You have to have thin lips. I got big lips, bigger. But I did play trumpet even when I was in drum and bugle corps. The drum line was so good. I was 10 and 11 years old. I was too young to play drums, but I was always hanging with the friggin' drum line. And by 12 years old, then that was it. I was in. I knew all their parts, but they wouldn't let me do it because they had, they were older people. But yeah, I don't know. He never told me that. He never said I'd need to play trumpet. Never. But he would come home after work, and we'd be in the basement and in Connecticut when I was growing up as a child. And he'd be teaching me trumpet. The problem was he taught me the old scales, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, instead of A, B, C, D, E, F, and that fucked me up a little bit too. But he was old school European. Anyway, well, thank you. I did not know that. There's a lot of things I probably don't know, but we'll get there one day at a time. I'm very thankful for what I do know. How about that?
There you go, man.
All
hey,
right.
I love you, Peter.
Thank you.
Take care, and I'm glad I got to finally watch your show, and I will continue to do it in the future.
If you're up, bored or whatever, and again, this show will regurgitate. When it's done, you can look up anything on the Peter G Show Facebook page, and you can just scroll, and there's weeks, and there's little 1-minute clips, but everything is there. Or YouTube, you can go to YouTube, and there's tons of stuff, because I've been doing this for 3 years now. It feels like 30 years because it's that hard to do. But there's a lot of different stuff out there, and you can watch the evolution on how I've done things and changing with the times. And even this show now, it's not the Peter G Show; it's Life with Peter G. Because I'm opening up a broader spectrum about, let's just talk about whatever's on your mind, because I just love people. I'm very thankful for all the friends in my life, and again, if it wasn't for Bolt Energy, I probably wouldn't be able to do this either. But ask for it in stores.
Well, I will look for that in the stores too.
Yes.
And hey, man, I even got to see Shelby. Man, I couldn't believe that.
I know there's a lot of people. A lot of people. Well, she's been there for me, and I've known her since she was 12 years old. But again, funerals. Here's the sad part, Steve. This is the only time I saw one of my cousins. The last time I saw one of my cousins was at my mother's funeral. They say weddings and funerals. It's the truth. But I'm going to tell you, there's more funerals than there are weddings. There really is. Nobody freaking gets married anymore. Nobody gives a shit. I still think it's a good thing, but I'm going to more funerals or hearing about more funerals. That's why when I see somebody passing, the week before my father passed, there was a few people on Facebook that they lost parents, and I just get involved, and I just have to write something. I don't just give a heart sign or a sad sign. I just wrote, and I don't really know these people that well. They're on my fan page, but I just said, hey, I understand the feeling. I really do, and whatever I said, but very from the heart, that it sucks, but you'll make it. You'll make it. Don't let it consume you to where you're going to ruin your life because you lost them. They would not ever want it to be that way. So that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. And again, my one friend in L.A. who, and I see you, Dirk. He wrote to me today, and it was a couple of paragraphs just really talking about how now that my father passed, I have to, that's when I really start to gain momentum. Now I have to be my own man. Even though I thought I was my own man, now even more I will transition into things that I've been working for. And I don't know. In my mind, I've been working hard anyway. What if it just happens anyway? I wanted it to happen while my own man was around, so I could say, look what I've been doing. Because I didn't even tell him about this show. It was so over his head. He doesn't understand this shit. But he understands, as far as he knew, he had his own story. And I just let him tell his own story. But that's just the way it goes. So. Yep.
Hey, man, you have a beautiful family. Your daughter, lovely girl.
There's two of us.
You enjoy her for the rest of your life. And I will talk to you again soon.
You will. I mean, just so long as you follow. Again, there's only one of me, and there's too many of you guys. If you choose to follow me, I am on this friggin' thing a lot. Because that's what I chose to do. Nobody in their right mind chose to take a Facebook page and turn it into a friggin' TV channel. But I said, if I don't get a deal, I'm going to make my own GTV. It's that simple. I'm not going to wait for somebody to go, oh, we think you're doing something, but you need to be like this and like that. Say, fuck it. I'm here. If you buy into me, because I'm selling myself, because this is who I am. If you like it, please watch, please share. And again, thank you for what you did this week, Steve. You gained some more wings.
I didn't do anything, man. I love you, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Old friend. But again, old friends are busy, and somebody I haven't seen in years. And he came out of the woodworks. Word gets around. I went to the guy that worked on my father's car, a mechanic, down the street. I, couldn't remember to. I know you're watching the time. You remind me of you need to meet my producer in L.A. I know he's constantly breaking my balls. Like it's this. Screw it. This is an exceptional show. Right in the time. Shit. Anyway, yes. The mechanic that was putting the Band-Aids on my father's car. I'm paying him from 2,000 miles away to keep that car running so I don't buy him another car. I didn't get to tell him that my father passed, but I pulled up and I said, I got to go and tell him because he helped me out tremendously. And he goes, I heard about your dad. And I go, how did you hear? He goes, everybody knows. Word gets around, and that's how it goes. So we're running out of time. I'm going overtime, and even my stunt double producer is... you just gained the title out of the blue. He's holding up. He's already he's writing on sticky notes what time it is. I know what time it is. But 818-259-7983. One more call if anybody gives a shit, and then we'll cut out of here. I figured last week because the first 28 minutes I forgot to plug in one wire and sounded like shit for the first 28 minutes. Shittier. So we went for an hour and a half show. And again, I can because I'm sponsored by by Bolt Energy. Electrify your senses. I like what they have. It tastes like and he's kind of right. The minute he told me, it's kind of like an Apple Jolly Rancher. It's smooth. It's lightly carbonated, but it doesn't get you all freaked out and jittery. There's no crash. It's a cleaner drink because these guys are workout fanatics, and so he was developing something that just gives you that kick in the ass to go do what you got to do, but you're not going to get all nuts. We don't need any more nuts. But 818-259-7983. If you want to do me a favor, you will call me, and just don't be the silent majority. I need callers. See, this is a call-in show. Even though it's not very sophisticated, it's still a call-in show, and that's what it's all about. I talked a lot today, and I talked sometimes a lot of, on other shows, but the key is that we're building this. You will hit the share button anytime you're watching this, either live or after it goes into regurgitation through Facebook's. It gives you the option. You say share when you're watching it, and then you hit the watch party button, and it says so-and-so, like you, let's say Alice, is watching Life with Peter G right now, and it just goes out to all your friends. And I promise you, you're doing a big favor. I can't see what you're showing me, but yeah. See, I got even my new stunt double producer is sharing, and he's seeing dozens of people that I can't even see watching. So don't go by what you see on the screen. 3 people, 4 people. This is what it's all about. There's a lot more of you out there. We have spider webs that spread. But one more call. Do me this. 818-259-7983. Tell me something relevant or, again, tonight's topic was, and what was the, giving thanks to people who've affected you in a positive way in your life. I know there's tons of people. Again, my father, I started hearing from all these people that he touched people's lives, and it killed me. I was crushed in a happy kind of way. I can't believe my crazy-ass old man affected so many people. I mean, I had a grown man crying at my father's coffin because he said he saved his life through my father's just talking to him, being 92 or 82 or whatever he was, for years he said he's known my father, but just giving him his perspective about things. And my father wasn't stupid. He's lived my father grew up during World War I, World War II, when the stories. This is a whole different age of tough breed. My mother was a tough breed, walking 30 miles to go get wheat to make bread. If you didn't know how to sew, if you didn't know how to make clothes, you didn't have it. There's not all this bullshit. It's just, Amazon wasn't around, okay? It's that simple. But that's the whole thing. I need you guys to share. Call me. One more call. I got 15 more minutes. I'm going to go to 12:30 if that's okay with you. Thank you. I got the okay. Just call me and tell me something about anybody. I mean, how things have affected your life due to somebody just being who they are, but not even realizing you're the one I've been waiting for. Hi, Life with Peter G. Who's this?
Dirk Schubert.
Hi, Dirk. I love you.
How's it going? Is it still on? I can't see that when I'm
on
the phone.
No. I'm going for 15 more minutes. I'm going for 15 more minutes. What's on your mind? Tell me something. You almost made.
I'm sorry that I didn't tune in when I said I would tune in.
Yeah, you told me you're going to set your alarm.
I did. I set an alarm, but I was doing something else, and I was like, I'll get to it in a minute. Then I forgot about it.
That's okay. It's okay. I'm here every Sunday night, Dirk, so don't. I'm not going nowhere. You'll be sick of me before long, but I'm hoping that we pick up to where there's always going to be something exciting going on. But let me just tell you that thing that you wrote me today, you brought me to tears. It was way deep, and I appreciate it. It very true, but way deep. It just kind of brings you, hits you right in the nuts in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
I think about what my dad would think about the current political climate, but we won't get into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a dead end.
Yeah. Life's short. But your wisdom, you've become very spiritual over the years, correct?
I got involved with that. Definitely drank the Kool-Aid there.
I mean, do you think it's changed you and enhanced you in any ways?
Oh, absolutely.
I think it has. Yeah.
I'm definitely more me and less, I don't know what, reactive me or something, more reflective me and less reactive me.
Right.
But yeah, I picked up some good one-liners along the way.
Yeah, they make you think. They do make you think. That passage you read about, when you don't truly, become to your full potential until your father has passed. I mean, that's a tough one, because I've been trying my ass off to regain myself again, to get up to speed again, and my goal was to be able to show him, while he was alive. It's like, okay, I got kicked in the head, but I'm back, and life is going to be okay, and I wanted to take care of him more than what I do now. I mean, for me, it's like totally, I just spoil him, whatever, for putting up with all my shit.
Well, like I said, some things you have control over, some things you don't.
Absolutely.
This is just one of those things. I mean, I was 92, man. He waited a while.
I know, it's me.
How old are you?
I'm 57.
57.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're still enjoying your 50s. What can I say?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm good. But I feel like I've gotten, the last 10 years have just been hard. They were just life-changing hard. And I'm just now, where my lips are above water and truly enjoying this in its own state, whatever you want to call this. I like this. I can't wait until it gets to a little bit more to where, like, we're hopping. And the jokes are flowing, depending on what's going on. This one's a little bit heavier, but balance. Oops. God, see, and having the right gear in front of you. That's how I don't bang mic stands. But that's where I'm going. And you've been tuning in. I see you later. So I don't know.
I try.
That's okay. You're a night owl, kinda.
well, not like 8:30 is the night owl.
That's true. I'm sorry, you're on West Coast time, but you got to understand that. See, I get a lot of people, and they go, "Wow, it's 10:30, it's Sunday. I got to go to work on Monday. It's 11:30 on the East Coast." But yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so what are you going to do tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, what are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I get up and I just ordered a lot more. One of those doorbell the rings that like sets off to video. I just got that sent to the house here, so I'm going to install that tomorrow. And I actually ordered 3 more. I have like 11 cameras in this house, the driveway, the this and that, and I'm just putting even more. I have backup for the backup because sometimes these cameras.
Why do you need all those cameras in the house? What's the deal?
Well, I used to have cameras because I want my father, when he'd be asleep, a bomb could go off and nobody answers the phone. So
actually, I got that, but that isn't the case now. So why are you adding more cameras?
Because I still own the house and I want to make sure that the house is safe and I have great neighbors and all that. But I just like the fact. I mean, I don't think I'll ever stop looking over here. It's going to take a while, and I'm not going to be here as much. So I got great neighbors and all, but I also wanted to just because the cameras they're flaky, so I always have like one behind another one because sometimes they just go down. They just don't thunderstorms and all that kind of stuff. It'll just like set them off. So they're getting. I just bought some backup. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm doing that. I got clothes to wash. I mean, this is the normal world. It's not all glamour like it looks like, babe.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just life. Tomorrow, honestly, I don't know. I would like to try to sleep till 8 o'clock. My phone finally started slowing down, and again, I'm very thankful for all the people who have reached out and said, "Peter, what can I do for you?" Including yourself, and you did, and are. But again, the biggest thing you can do for me is anybody that's listening is to share this stuff because eventually, there's just times when it actually makes sense.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said?
There's times on this show where I actually make sense.
Oh, where you actually make sense. Yeah. Well, that's not good.
No, I know, but
nobody wants to hear that.
Well, it's okay. They just did. I can take the good with the bad. It just is what it is. Just like
you got another call coming in. I hear some beeping.
No, actually, I don't. Maybe it's your phone.
No, I don't think so.
It's been a quiet night. I don't know who's watching, and I really thought today, like last week, I had a problem because it was an abundance of. I couldn't, we don't have phone screeners, and so I can only take one call. And I took a couple of long calls, and I got to start learning to cut them, get to the point, and do that. That takes practice because it's hard enough getting people to call. They're shy. I ran into somebody who recognized me, and they said, "I've seen your show." Because I'm pretty, over here I'm pretty good with, but she says, I'm too shy to call. I go, you really need to if you got something to say. So, it's hard. What can I do?
So, how bent are you on this whole thing about that you wanted your dad to see it and all that? I mean, how big a deal is that?
I didn't really want him to see it, but the thing is, these past 3 years when I came up with this concept to do this show, I really didn't tell him much about it because he doesn't understand the digital age. He doesn't understand Facebook. Do you recall that I was asking a question?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what it is that you wanted out of that. That's what I'm trying to drill down.
Okay.
Drilling down into the Peter G. brain.
How much do I owe you?
Size of a macadamia.
Are you going to peel me like a grape?
No.
Okay. The thing was because for many, many years my father knew what my purpose was, or it's like, he's a drummer, he's this or that. But, as the change started, it got more distant. And so I wanted to do this because I wanted to build this and go, this is what I'm doing now. This is where I'm going with my life. Not just struggling to, grabbing straws to survive. You know what I mean? I remember we did I remember we did one of your relatives. Whose bar mitzvah was it? That was like at Marina Del Rey many, many years ago. That you put the sound stuff together.
Oh my God! I think every freaking one of my nephews.
Okay, sorry. Well, I don't know if you remember, but
was it the one where they rode my Harley into the ballroom?
No, no, I don't think it was that one. It was a time when Steve forgot the mic stands. Do you remember that? This is years ago.
Oh, I think that was either Ari or Jacob's.
Okay. Here's my point. Here's my point. As much love.
They had a little band, right? Drop the Churro.
I don't. You had like the ZZ Top, the Jewish guys doing the ZZ Top. The Shalom. The rituals, and they had the guys with the beards, but they were fake. It was entertainment type dudes. I know. Hard to think. I know you have a big family. Here's my point. You said to me, and again, I love and respect you. You have a very successful business. You've done very well. I mean, for yourself. But yet you told me that all your family is either doctors and this, and here you are, the sound company guy. That like people don't get you. You know what I mean?
I'm the roadie. Yeah. No, I'm a roadie. That's
okay.
What I am.
But
no
yet,
sound company to them.
Okay, it's but like, you see what I'm saying?
I'm a doctor. I'm an accountant. I'm a lawyer.
Right.
And you're a roadie.
Right. Although you are you still doing the Greek theater? Who's?
Yeah.
Okay. How many years is that?
This is the 15th year.
And again, I know you said that you have the account. It's not like a big money maker, but the bottom line is you're pretty.
It's a big money. What are you talking about?
No, years ago I remember you got the contract and you were saying, I'm in there to get in there. Maybe things have changed. We haven't talked about this in a while.
Oh well, initially, I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yes,
that was like JBL.
Yes, yeah, it was. It was the sound arrays. Yeah.
Totally tricked out.
I know.
New gear in it again this year.
I haven't been to the Greek theater since. I mean, because I just, life is just taking. I know.
You got to come with me, and we'll go. We'll go see Ringo.
Let me know, and I'll make it. I promise, because okay. It's just that time again. I think we've come full circle as well. It's just that time again because I'm always too busy hustling, Dirk. It's just hard. But the thing was, even as successful as you were, in my opinion. My humble opinion, you've provided for your family, you've lived, miles away, your business runs, you have people that run your business, you've done incredible things all over the world, but in your family's eyes, they don't understand what the hell you're doing, right?
Well, my extended family, but you're right. The people that have all passed away,
yes,
they didn't really get it.
Okay, well... I'm old school.
I think I told you this story about my grandfather. I had one living grandfather, and he really wanted to know. He was really, really like, well, I really want to know, what is it that you do? I know that you're doing really well and everything. Right. He says, you're doing great, but what is it that you do again? So I'd explain it over and over and over again, and he still wasn't really getting it. And then, like, the light bulb came on over his head. He goes, oh, you're a carny. You're a carny.
A carny.
I'm like, yeah, that's
close.
It. You got it. That's it. You nailed it.
Wow.
And he goes, okay, all right. I understand it now. Now I get it.
Great.
Okay.
A carny. Well, there you have it. See, because it's a different world. It wasn't of the norm, but yet
that's what the banks think I am too. I swear to God.
A carny?
Yeah, like banks. You go to, try and get a business loan. Nobody's ever seen a sound. No bank has ever dealt with a sound company before. They don't know what that is. Wow. What is that? Wow. I couldn't believe it. I had one bank one time. We're way off track now.
It's okay.
It was courting me for my business, and they came down to the shop and they saw all the gear, and they thought it was just absolutely amazing. And and then they were like, "Well, what do you do with this gear?" I said, "Well, take it out on the road, and set it up and make money." She said, "What do you mean you take it out? You take it out of the building?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, well, then how do we know where it is?
Right.
And I'm like, well, it's out on tour. Oh, that's ridiculous. We can't lend money on that.
Right.
And they thought something happened there inside the building. Like all the money got made like in the building.
Right.
There.
No, that was just a storage unit.
Doesn't quite work like that.
I'm surprised because LA's a little more broad. Any place to be understanding that would be LA. That you could be a musician or that.
But anyway, all right. Well, man, I think I should go because I'm not really on your topic.
No, the topic is whatever the topic is. We're good. You called. I appreciate it. We talked about the things with my father, and that's what we were just talking about. Why you want to know why I wanted to do things. You just want to because you want to make your parents happy. I mean, they wanted me to be a doctor. That's old school stuff. That was the norm. We are not the norm, but we're happy. And that's all, I know.
Yeah, well, that was like in my, there's a lot of jokes about that in Jewish families. Of course, my grandmother asked, if I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer. And I was like, really? There's only two choices? And then another one is that, a Jewish, in the Jewish tradition, a fetus is not considered viable until after it graduates from medical school.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. So again, different times, and your kids are doing different things, and they're grown now, and it's just a different life. But my father was old school, 92. Again, 2 world wars, and
that's a whole different life, man.
So
you were never in any of that. You weren't. In the military, were you?
No. But you see I saw this joke. It's like showing a picture of your grandfather, and he's on this army motorcycle with a rifle strapped to him in an army military suit, and then you says your future your grandchildren, and they got memes with the cat's ears, and the Mickey Mouse smiles from the Facebook stuff. That's the difference in generations. They were out fighting wars, and we're out making, clown faces on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat.
Oh, dude, you would not believe some of the stories that I heard, from my grandfather about when he escaped from what is now Poland, which was White Russia back then,
of course,
in World War I.
Yes,
unbelievable. For what, he was 14 years old.
Sure, running for your life.
Oh, man. Way super, super intense shit. I just, when he had me write this stuff down for him, my mom wanted me to do it. And, so he was telling me about it. And I was just totally blown away. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Different times. That's what they knew. That's all they knew.
It was crazy.
It is
just
crazy because it's unfathomable now.
Do you want me to tell you about it? It's just so nuts. You won't even believe that this is that really happened to somebody.
Can you do it in 2 minutes?
I think so. Okay, so go. My grandfather had, he had an older brother and his dad and his mother and a younger sister, and they went to town every day. The word was that this was in World War I, that all of the males 16 and over were going to be conscripted into the army. Mm-hmm. So the 3 of them went to town, and he went to go do some shopping, and his older brother and his dad went to the train station where they're supposedly going to get signed up, be conscripted to be soldiers. Mm-hmm. Well, they open the doors of this train and they just shoot everybody.
Right.
And so my grandfather saw this happen, but he wasn't there because he was under 16. He was 14. Right. So he runs back and he tells his mother and his sister, we have to leave now. We have to go now. It doesn't matter. Just anything. No, don't take anything. Just we have to go.
Right.
And while they're in the house, there's a knock at the door.
Right.
And they looked out the window and there's 2 soldiers there.
Right.
2 Russian soldiers are there. And he goes around the back and climbs up on the roof and jumped on these guys and killed them with a claw hammer. And then, he and his sister and my great grandmother, I guess it was, escaped.
Right.
But how's that for
again, because had they gotten on that train, if they got in that train, they're telling you you're going one place and they were taking you to your death.
Yeah. But I mean,
who knew?
Can you imagine that at age 14?
No.
To, just do that?
Exactly. That's the crazy part of the whole deal, and that's the problem. And but those were the times people lived in, and now we're so it's so long forgotten that life is just about I had a pizza on Facebook, or that's the world we're living in. And unfortunately,
he was a really sweet guy that really didn't mean harm to anybody, but when he would see college kids protesting on campus, and then he heard about Kent State where these kids got shot, he's like, that's fine,
Right.
You have so much freedom here. This is such a wonderful place. Nobody should be protesting anything.
Right. Freedom isn't
You
free.
don't know anything about what hard times are. You don't know anything about bad government.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, in a lot of ways,
you set them off. You can tell why, right?
Right.
There's the history.
I know, but see, you don't know what you don't know, and unfortunately, that's why in Germany we're taking down statues and all this stuff in the country and burying history. And in Germany, they still teach what went on during World War II, and even though they were the Germans, because they teach about this stuff in school because they don't want it to happen again.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, I went a minute and a half over.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Sorry, you know what? You're worth it.
Thanks for taking my call. It's fun to call in. It's weird though that I can't see the show because I've got the one phone. So
the beauty is
Facebook is running in the background right now, and I'm just talking to you on the phone.
Here's the beauty of it though: it'll go into regurgitation. You can watch it to your heart's desire anytime. Once I finish this show, it'll be there to repeat, and you can still do a watch party and share it with all your friends, even when it's in recorded mode. So there you go, and thank you.
All right.
Again,
well, I'll see you when you get back.
Yeah,
take me out for sushi.
All right. You know what? All right. You got it. I mean, really, it's just hard. Scheduling and all that kind of crap in my life is, but all right.
It's all right. I'm not in a hurry.
I know. Believe me. I know. But
I
life
know what
is
flight you're on.
Yeah. I got a lot of, I'll be back again, too, within 30, come back and forth. At least 2 more times I got to come back and forth. But again, let's just talk. Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, he held down the fort here, and now the fort is on me. But it's okay.
Yeah.
That's life. My ticket came up. I love you for calling. Right. Thank you for having the balls to call, and thanks for being. You watch every week, and I appreciate that almost every week. And thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Love you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, folks, it's that time. Sure. Why not? You think you're doing pretty good. My dad. Oops. It's kind of hard to do. This is my father. I don't know if we resemble each other, but it is what it is. Forever in my mind, for those of you who've lost parents, children, relatives, whatever, the pain is the same. I brought to you this show to talk about this kind of stuff because this was this is the second hardest thing I've had to do in my life, pretty much, and I've done some hard shit. I mean, lots of things. My divorce was killing me, but this is painful. This was painful. Letting go and saying goodbye, it hurts. It never gets any easier, but we learn to live with it. So all I want to say was this man is part of who I am. There was things that I learned with him and things I learned to not do with him. He wasn't Mr. Fashionable. There was things, but his wisdom and his age and his knowledge shared and spread amongst a lot of people, apparently, that I did not even know, and I'm very proud of that. And maybe that's why I'm in this seat right now, because I'm passing on things that I hope will help you. So I will forever, it's kind of surreal. I said that when my mother passed, too. It just doesn't seem like it's happening, but it happened. So he passed away 92, and you say 92 because some people have lost. My mother lost her father at 11. He died from World War I, from cancer, from mustard gas. Again, old stories, but that was their world. So I'm very thankful. But no matter how old you get, if you love somebody, I'm just greedy. I can't just say, oh well, that's life. That's the way it goes. I will forever cherish and keep in my heart and soul of all the people, even my friends. I hate losing friends, and I'm losing some way too soon. But you just kind of keep them in your mind, and you're thankful for the times you had, and I hope I did a good job being a friend. Maybe better to some than others. Life, you take for granted, but I do the best I can, and that's all I can do. And I want to say that I owe some of this to my father as well as to my mother. Again, I said it. I learned how to sew a button on a shirt from my mother, and I learned how to change the oil on the car from my father, as well as many, many things. So I will forever be indebted for what these people have done for me. Even when they disagreed with me, they wanted me to be somebody else, they always had my back. And don't ever forget that. I'm very blessed with my daughter. So far, it's been a good ride, but we're going to butt heads here and there. We're just kind of do, but the bottom line is don't forget who you love. Quitting is zero, okay? You can't quit on the people you love. You just get mad and then brush yourself off and then go at it because you love these people. I want to thank Bolt Energy. Man, oh man, you're on top of it. How much I want to thank Bolt Energy for sponsoring me and for letting me be available to do this, even in this manner and fashion. I want to thank every single one of you for being there for me. I want to see you every Sunday night, 8:30 Pacific, 10:30 Central, and 11:30 on the East Coast, because it's a big deal. So it is what it is. Let's share, but I want more phone calls. I'm going to start having topics, but I cannot have topics until I got people that have the balls enough to call in. I'll read all your texts and stuff later. Share, watch party. That's the best thing you can do for me. Watch party. If you believe in anything I'm doing, I can't say it enough. I have to drive it into your heads because I need you to do it. I love you more than anything. I swear, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going away. I promise you I'm not going away. And we're going to do it at a higher level. And then you're going to say, yeah, I knew that guy when he was doing this Mickey Mouse little thing. It's not Mickey Mouse. If I could touch one life and it helps them just think, because I'm not telling you what to do, but helps bring to your attention something that helped you move forward, I've done my thing. And so I'm very, very gracious and happy about just being here. I look forward to it. And that's it. Till next Sunday, let's do it again. And I'll be here. You be here too. Again, we'll be in L.A. next Sunday. We'll be back in an undisclosed location in Burbank, California. And back with our black backgrounds. Some people say, black. I like black. It's much more slimming. Peace out. I love you guys. Again, comment, talk to me during the week. You can tell me anything you want. Suggestions, whatever you want. Tell me I suck. Tell me you love me. Just tell me, okay? Peace out. I love you.
Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show.